Hey there, welcome over here to my kitchen. I am super excited about this video today. I'm going to be showing you some more meals that are all about $5 or less. These meals are very budget friendly, but they are still delicious. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Anyways, I really hope you enjoy this video and let's go get to cooking. We're going to begin today by making this lentil vegetable soup. If you don't know yet, lentils are super high in protein, low in fat, and high in fiber. So they are really good for you and they're super inexpensive. I'm going to start by dicing up 1 onion and about 3 carrots. Over to my large pot, I have a tablespoon of some hot olive oil in there. I'm just adding the veggies that we just chopped up in, and I'm going to stir them around and let these veggies get soft. It's going to take about 5 minutes or so. I do also want to mention, previously I've made this recipe and I've added a couple stalks of celery, and that's super delicious. So now that my veggies are soft, I added my 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, and I'm going to let the garlic get fragrant. It's going to take about 30 seconds. I also want to let you know I am still a little bit under the weather, so if my voice sounds different, that might be why. This soup recipe is truly very simple, so the remainder of the ingredients that I'm adding in before I let this simmer on my stove is a small can of diced green chilies, 14 ounces of some petite diced tomatoes, 4 cups of vegetable broth, 1 cup of lentils, and then for the seasonings, I'm adding in 3 teaspoons of herbs de Provenance. If you don't have that, you could just add in Italian seasoning or whatever your favorite seasonings are. Just a pinch of some salt and pepper, and then you're going to stir this all around, bring it up to a boil, then drop it down to a simmer, and cover this and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Here we are about 30 minutes later, and my house is smelling amazing. The lentils are nice and tender the way I like them to be. Now this is optional, but I am adding in a half of a lemon. It's just going to give it a little bit extra flavor. I gave it a really good stir, and then it's ready to serve. Here's my big bowl of soup. This is such a great budget-friendly dinner idea, especially throwing those lentils in as a meat substitute. It's very inexpensive, and like I said previously, lentils are a great source of protein, and this is just super flavorful. Now we're making some fried rice. I can't believe I haven't made fried rice in such a long time. It's packed full of nutrients and it's super duper easy to throw together. So in my Instant Pot, I'm going to begin with 1 cup of some long grain brown rice and a cup of water with about 1.5 teaspoons of some olive oil. You could also use white rice for this recipe, whatever your preference is, and you definitely do not need to cook it in the Instant Pot. I just find that's the easiest way to cook rice for me. I'm just going to cook this on high pressure for 19 minutes with a natural release. After it is through cooking, I'm going to let the rice completely cool down. Now that my rice is out of the Instant Pot and completely cooled down, I actually have it in the fridge. I'm going to begin to work on the onion and the garlic mixture. So on my saucepan right here, I added a tablespoon of olive oil. Once the oil is hot, I added my diced up 1 white onion with 3 cloves of minced garlic. I'm going to let this onion soften. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Now that my onion is soft, I'm adding in my 1 cup of frozen vegetables. You could really add in any type of frozen vegetable you like. I chose to use mixed vegetables just because that was what was in my freezer that needed to be used. After about 3 minutes of cooking those mixed vegetables, I added my 3 cups of rice in that we cooked up in the Instant Pot. The reason I was saying to cool down the rice and even put it in your fridge for about an hour or 2 is because the rice will actually cook up best for your fried rice that way. So on a higher heat, I let the rice cook and kind of fry up for about 3 minutes. After those 3 minutes, I'm making a little hole on my pan, and you're going to crack your 2 eggs in there and you're going to scramble the eggs up. Now that my scrambled eggs are all cooked, I'm just going to incorporate them into the fried rice. The very last thing you're going to do is add in about 3 tablespoons of some soy sauce. Give this a really good stir, warm the soy sauce through, and then it's ready to serve. Here's my big bowl of fried rice. I topped mine with some sesame seeds. You could also top it with some green onions and that would be delicious. I love how inexpensive this is, but it's still healthy. You could easily make this into a chicken fried rice by adding some chicken in while it's cooking. This Cajun sausage and peppers recipe is only around a few ingredients, so it is super duper easy to throw together. I especially like making it when I'm in a rush at night. I'm going to begin by slicing one white onion and a green bell pepper into smaller pieces. You could add an additional bell pepper, like a red one, to this recipe if you would like, but I only chose to use the green one because it's a little bit less money than any of the other colors of peppers. Now I'm going to slice my pork kielbasa into smaller pieces. Over to my saucepan, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of some olive oil and let that get hot. Once it is hot, I'm going to add my sausage in. The sausage is fully cooked, so I'm just looking to brown the outside of the sausage for some additional flavor. Once the outside is browned to the way I like it to be, I'm just going to remove it to a separate plate and set this plate to the side. Next, you're going to add an additional 2 tablespoons of olive oil to your pan and then add the onions and the peppers in. You're going to cook this until the onions start to caramelize a little bit, so for about 10 to 12 minutes. Add the sausage back in to warm through, and then you're going to season it with some Cajun seasoning. You could really use however much or however little Cajun seasoning you would like. I chose to use about a teaspoon for my family. I'm going to give this a really good stir, let everything combine, and then it's ready to serve. Here's my plate of food. This is optional, but I did top mine with some sour cream and cheese. I really like making this meal because the sausage does add a good amount of protein, and this really does make for some great leftovers the next day. Now we're making this creamy tomato pasta dish. When I say you could make this in 10 minutes, I am not joking. This meal is so easy to throw together and it's delicious. So to begin, in some boiling water, I'm adding a half a pound of these penne pasta noodles. You could really use any type of pasta you like for this recipe. While I have that cooking up, I'm just going to soften a half of an onion with 3 cloves of garlic in some oil. Now you'll want to add in your 14 ounces of some diced tomatoes, and then of course you're going to want to give this some flavor, so add in a teaspoon of basil and oregano, just a dash of some salt and pepper to your taste, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then lastly a half a cup of some water. Give this a really good stir and let it simmer for about a minute. Now I'm adding in my 3 ounces of some cubed cream cheese. That is optional, but that will give it a nice creamy flavor. I'm just whisking it around for about 30 seconds until it melts down. And then lastly, I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and I had some spinach on hand, about half a cup of that I needed to use up, so I just tossed that in. I let the spinach wilt down, and then you're going to add in the cooked pasta noodles. Give this one last stir, and then it's ready to serve. Here's my plate of food. I topped mine with some Parmesan cheese. This is such a nice, lighter tasting pasta dish, and it totally beats buying a jar of marinara sauce at the store. It's so inexpensive and way flavorful. Now we're making some chicken drumsticks and wild rice. About 4 drumsticks is a pound of drumsticks, and I could usually get a pound of drumsticks at my grocery store on sale for $1, so it's a very inexpensive meat. On my cooking tray right here, I have it lined with some aluminum foil. I drizzled my drumsticks with plenty of some olive oil, and now I'm seasoning them generously with some onion powder, paprika, garlic powder, chili powder, and salt and pepper on top. I don't have the exact measurements, but I did, pretty generously season them. I'm going to bake this in a preheated oven to 425 degrees for about 45 minutes. While I do have my chicken drumsticks in the oven baking, I'm going to begin on the long grain and wild rice as my side dish. I just followed the instructions on the back of the box, nothing special or anything, but I wanted to let you know, making a side dish like this is very inexpensive. Like this box of rice-a-roni was only $1, and it's delicious. My entire family likes it, and it's just super simple to throw together. Here's my plate of food. Of course, I served the drumsticks with some of that wild rice. This could easily be paired with any vegetable you would like. I really do like cooking with drumsticks because they do have a lot of essential amino acids, vitamins, and minerals in them. And that is a wrap of this video today. I really hope you enjoyed it and were able to find a meal that you might be able to make for yourself. As usual, if you are new to my channel, we would absolutely love to have you here. So go ahead and subscribe down below the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.